Hey y'all, Amy Dix here with Choose Happy and Create Happy. And today we're going to create something so happy, so joyous. It is this idea that originally Karen DeMuth came up with, and she is the founder of Connecting Through Music. And it was this thought to bring different religions and spiritual worlds all together, all in one painting. I love it so much. So that is what we are going to do today. Painting this church, Buddha, the Star of David, and I'm going to walk you through step by step. So let's get started and talk about what you need in order to do this painting. Let's switch the camera here. All right, so we have our canvas. This one is going to be portrait. This happens to be, I believe, a 12 by 16. And it doesn't matter really what size you have. You just want to make sure that it is portrait, meaning that it's long, up and down long, as opposed to like this would be landscape, right? So we're going portrait mode. All right, and then you will want a couple of brushes. It doesn't matter so much. I have a 1-inch wash that I will use for the background. You could also use, I don't have one sitting right here. You could also use like a chip brush for that. And then if you just have like a round brush for some of the details that and the outlines, that will be all you need for this one. I also have another smaller flat and a smaller round just here because it's sitting here. But basically all you need is one flat and one round, and you will be ready to rock and roll. So we've got some colors. So we have our gold already started. This particular painting, we're also going to use some blue. I'm going to put next to that. This is a pretty limited palette, which is, I always think is so fun when you're able to create just like a really beautiful painting just from a limited palette. So I've got a little bit of white, got some black, I'm going to use some yellow, and we made add some colors here along the way. I also have this coral color. We'll use that for the Buddha. All right. So we are going to get started, and we're really going to just get started on our background. What we're going to do is we are going to do like a blend or a wash from the bottom, lighter on the bottom, getting darker as we go to the top. So I am going to grab my flat brush, and I'm going to start with, I'm going to start with my horizon line and then move from light blue all the way to like a black at the top. So the first thing we want to do is just mix a little bit of blue and some white on our mixing plate, and we're just really kind of getting like this light blue, and we're going to build in our horizon line. Now I'm going to start about 4 finger widths up from the bottom, and we're going to have some snow at the bottom here, so I'm just going to kind of do just some curvy lines. It's going to be like our hill for our snow. Don't worry, it does not need to be perfect. You're going to have plenty of time to come back over and fix anything that you don't really like. So, all right. So I'm just going to start, and just for this first kind of stroke, I'm just using my big brush, and I'm just using the whole side of the big brush and just doing one kind of big thick line, and then I'm going to work my way so that I can go just directly back and forth. So mix a little bit more paint here. So I'm just going all the way back and forth, just very long, smooth brush strokes. And as you continue to move up, I'm just adding more and more blue to my light blue mixture. And you just kind of want to start to blend up. And the best way to blend is to do your color right on top of your previous color and just kind of just work it in. Use your brush strokes back and forth, long, smooth brush strokes, and that will continue to let it blend. So as I work my way up, again, I'm just adding more and more blue to my mixture so that it gets darker and darker. Eventually here, I'm about midway up, and I am just using straight blue. Now, a couple of things to think about. If you're painting the sides of your canvas, you're going to want to do that as you go along. So don't forget to get the sides. Now, if you have like a canvas board or something, you might not have the wrapped sides, or if you have canvas paper, totally fine. And then you don't need to worry about the sides. All right, so I'm still just going in straight up blue. I need a little bit more blue. And now I'm going to start kind of working my way so that it gets darker and darker. So I'm actually going to add a little bit of black. Let me just kind of show you. I'm going to take like a scoop of blue here on my plate. I'm just going to take a corner of the black and just add that in to the blue, just to make it a little bit darker. A little bit of black goes a really long way. So I'm just going to add that in. I'm just going back and forth, just blending, going down into my previous color, back up into my new color, down and back up. And that will help you to blend that. Right. So we're starting to kind of get this gradient look. Just gonna keep adding black as I go up. Just like we kept adding blue to our light blue in the beginning, now we're just adding black to our blue. And then by the time we get all the way to the top here, I'm just going to go straight in with black, and it will be a completely black on the top. So we've got a little bit of like a midnight sky going on, which is going to look really cool. At the end, we're going to add some snow. Just getting my corners here, or my edges. All right, so this is our sky. Whew, not bad. All right, so I am going to rinse my brush, and then, or you can, since we're still using blue, but you can just kind of dab it off on your paper towel. And then we're going to come in here on the bottom, and this is going to be snow. So you just want to go straight in with white. I've got a little black still on my brush. It's going to create a little bit of a shadow, which is totally cool. But if you rinse your brush, you just go straight in with white. If you dab just like the tiniest bit of blue on there, that'll help create some shadows in your snow, so that it's more of a 3D like landscape look. All right. I now am going to put my brush in my water and rinse that off. And we are going to, you want to pause this video and let your background dry. And then we're going to come in and draw in our church. And if you want it to dry a little bit faster, you can certainly take a blow dryer to it. But for right now, you're going to want to pause the video and let your background dry. And then we will come back and work on the church. Okay, so we're back. This is now dry. Our background is dry. So we are going to go in now, and I'm going to walk you through the church. Now, when you look at the church, it is really just shapes. So if you can draw shapes, you can do the church. Oftentimes art is just shapes. And so it's really just a matter of breaking it down and looking at it from, okay, what shape is this, or what many shapes is this? So let me just kind of zoom in here just a little bit for you. And we'll just start right on the church. Okay. All right. So now that we are zoomed in on the canvas, now our church is white and our background gets a little dark. And so there is going to be a couple of layers here that you're going to want to do. So we're just going to go right in, and the first shape that we are going to make is going to be a square. And this is really the foundation of our church. So let me get a little bit more white here. Okay, I am just going to go right in with my flat brush and I'm going to draw a square. So it is about 2 finger lengths from the side. So I'm just going to put a little mark there. That's where that's where the side of my church is going to be. And then from here, it's almost like halfway to the canvas. So I'm just going to put another little mark and now I have my guide. So from there, I'm just going to draw straight up and then straight over. This is my square or rectangle, I guess, depending on. All right. So from there, then there's like a little triangle on top. So I'm just gonna go right from there. I'm gonna go up, probably like 2 finger lengths up. Okay. Then I'm just going to draw another line. From there, I'm going to draw another line. Actually, I'm going to extend this line out. So I'm going to extend this line out. Okay. And then on the top of that, I'm going to draw another line. And then it's going to come down at an angle. Okay. And now we have our steeple, So it's just going to be this rectangle right on top. So in the middle, you can make it as skinny or as wide as you want. I'm probably going to make mine 2 finger widths. There we go. So something like that. And I'm just going to go straight up. Don't forget to leave room, oops, for the star. And then we're going to do our triangle on top. Okay. So that is the basis of our church. So now we just need to come in with white and we're just going to paint that right in. Now, a couple of things, like just remember, this is your first layer. You're actually going to come back over this layer and do another layer of white. So your background really has to be dry in order for this to work well. Otherwise, you're going to start blending. Your colors from the background are going to come through on your white church and you don't want that. So just make sure that your background is dry and you're really just doing a thin white layer. It is not going to cover, likely it is not going to cover your whole or your canvas. Totally fine. That is just fine. We don't expect it to, which is why we're going to come back in. Now, if you do a lot of paint right here because you're trying to cover it, all it's really going to do is get really gloppy and be really hard. Actually, the opposite is going to happen. You're actually not going to be able to cover as well. And you're just going to end up with this like really gloppy church. So you're just putting a thin layer of white on. I'm just going to go in the steeple. And we'll come back and add the details later. So don't be too caught up in what it looks like. It's going to look like a messy, weird shapes on your canvas. As I'm looking at this, like my little steeple is just a little over to the left. So I'm just going to make mine a little bit wider and just try to center it a little better. All right. So there we go. Just extend these out a little bit. All right. So wow, that we need to let that dry. So go ahead. Whoops, I almost put my paintbrush in my coffee. That would not be good, my friends. So we're just gonna go ahead and rinse our brush and then dry our brush off. And you can pick up now your round brush, and we are going to put in the Star of David. So I want you to go ahead and pick up yellow on your brush. And the Star of David is really just two triangles. So I'm gonna go just a little above top of the steeple. Okay, so I'm just gonna do a triangle on top. Whoops. You guys can see that? Triangle on top. And then an upside down triangle, same size. Okay, you're just going straight in with yellow. And same, this may be a little transparent. Don't worry about it. We're going to come in, we're going to put in another layer of yellow once that dries. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead now and put that in the dunk tank. If you need to pause this video, depending on how wet your background, your church background is, you can. Otherwise, we're going to go straight in with our second layer. All right, so once that first layer dries, we're going to come right back with just plain white. I'm using my big brush, and now you can see that this is going to cover a lot more than previous. Now, I like to kind of always think about like the shape of the building, which way the brush strokes might be going. So on the bottom here, I'm actually going up and down. And then when it comes up here, I will start to go horizontal. So it's totally up to you. You could go back and forth the whole time. That would work as well. Or you could just come in here and do the whole thing, depending on how much you want your brush strokes to be seen. So I really love this idea. There was this painting of the church with a cross on the top, and Karen suggested to kind of mix some different spiritualities, religions, and I just thought it was such a cool idea. I'm all for all of that. And so she goes, maybe like a Buddha or something could be sitting on a bench out front. And I thought, maybe that may be really interesting. So we added a Buddha, and we're about ready to do that next. And then we did the Star of David instead of the cross on the top. So you could certainly make this however you want to make this. Like if you wanted the cross on top instead of the Star of David, you could do that. If you don't want to put in Buddha, you don't have to put in Buddha. Well, who doesn't love a great, cute looking Buddha? All right. Now my church is white. Yay! We've got a white church, folks. Okay, so we're gonna let that layer dry. And now, speaking of Buddha, we're gonna draw in Buddha here on the side. So I'm going to walk you through this. The first thing that we want to do is create just like a little bench for him. So I am going to just mix a little, I just took a little bit of that blue from earlier, and I'm going to add some white, and it's going to make like this kind of gray-ish look. If you don't have that blue black color still, like you could certainly just go in with black and some white and make a gray that way. So mine's a little bit more of a blue gray. But we're gonna come in here now, and I'm gonna stick Buddha right on the right-hand side here, and I'm gonna bring him like to the forefront. So he's gonna be sitting just on this like little stone or like this little bench right in the front. So I'm just going to draw a triangle. Okay, so just drew a little line. Another little line. Should give him a little something to sit on. All right, so now that he's got a little bench, you can go ahead and put that brush in your water. And just like the church is shapes, Buddha is shapes too. So I will walk you through how to draw Buddha in shapes. Okay, I'm going to use my round brush and we're going to go in with kind of this coral color. You could really add you could add a little bit of gold to this and darken it up a little bit. Maybe even a little yellow. Yeah, a little bit more gold. Okay, that's a little bit more of a yellow color, or you could just go in with the coral. One of the things I like to say is you do what makes you happy, right? So you do you. All right, so we got to draw its little legs, its little folded legs here. And if you kind of just break this down, it's basically just like an oval shape. So I'm just going right in and I'm just drawing like an oval shape. Okay, on the bottom. That's it. So now that we have the little oval shape, then we're going to draw almost like a circle for his body. Okay, so I'm just going to go right in. Looks like a snowman, right? Except it's not. Except it's Buddha. So there we go. And then I'm going to just do two little lines in the middle for his neck. You can see that. Okay. All right, and then we've got his head on top. So just a circle on top. All right. So that is going to be the basic shapes of our Buddha. We're going to fill him in all with one color, and then we'll come back and add some of the details. So he may not look like anything just yet, but we'll get there. Okay. There's my outline of my little Buddha. All right, while he dries, we're going to come back up and we are going to work on the church. So we need to fill in the windows of the church. So I'm still taking my round brush. And we're going to start with the door, which is just a curve, and then like two windows on the side, or maybe it's another, maybe there are two more doors. So, and then we'll do the one on the top. So I'm going in with my gold. And I'm just going to center right in the middle here, and I'm just going to draw, just going to draw a line up, and then a sad face, and then a line back down. Okay. You know, the gold is really hard to see. And we're going to fill that in. Another color that will have to come in again for like a second, maybe even a third layer. Gold is always like more shimmery. Okay. Now, what I did was I just took a little bit of my yellow and I mixed it in with my gold. And if you do that, then it won't be as transparent. Just going in on a second layer. with now my gold mixed in with my yellow. Okay, there's my door. And then we're going to do the same thing, our doors or our windows on the right side are going to be just a little bit taller than our door in the middle. Okay, and then this one comes to a peak, so we're just going to do like a triangle topper on top. And I'm just using my gold mixed with my yellow for all of this now. Just think it's gonna give you a better look. Okay, let's fill that in. Same, then you're doing the same on the other side. So you just want to make it so it's the same height. So just repeating the right door on the left side. So your 2 lines, and then a triangle at the top. Fill that in. All right, y'all, now you have your first floor. Okay, now we're going to come up to the steeple and we're going to do same thing as the ones on the right and the left. So we're just going to draw my 2 lines straight up. So whoop, whoop. And then the peak at the top. So a triangle topper, and then just fill that in. Right. So now we have our door, we have our windows. I'm going to go ahead and rinse that brush again. And let's go ahead and retrace over our Star of David. Give that a second layer. So I'm just going straight in with yellow. And I'm just going to trace right over my original lines. Okay. Starting to come together. All right, so now that you've got that, we're going to come back and we need to give Buddha some clothes. We need to give him some arms. We need to do a bunch of things for him. So we actually are going to now go in with your round brush. And let's give him his clothes and his arms. So on this middle part, we're going to start about a third of the way down, and we're just going to draw a curved line where his arms would be. And same on this side, but it's going to be a little shorter. So almost look at it like a smiley face, but the left side goes up higher than the right side. Okay, and then I'm going to outline his body on the left side. And as I do that, I'm going to bring his arm around, okay, to the middle. And then come back up just to this point. Okay, and then I'm going to draw a line right here. That's going to be his sleeve. Okay, these are his hands kind of coming together. All right. And from there, we've got his little shoulder and it's going to come down from the right all the way down and meet his arm on the left side. And then you can go ahead and finish tracing out that so you kind of see where all of that is. Okay, so this is his clothing. From here, we're going to start, this is his little knee right here. So from here, we're just going to take our outline and just curve down to the middle. And then from there, we're going to intersect and curve up to the left. And then you can go ahead and outline the rest of your Buddha. This really just gives us a guide, and then we can come back and I'll show you where we're going to color in his clothes. Again, with that black, as we're continuing to outline, let's give him some eyes, a little mouth. I like to just draw two little smiley faces for his eyes as if they're closed. And then a smiley face, because of course he's happy. Then on this side, we can give him, I forgot to give him some ears earlier. Put in some ears. All right. Okay. Now that we have that outlined, go ahead and rinse your brush, and we're going to give him some clothes. All right, so I'm just going in straight with yellow, and his clothes are right here. So they're on this side of the right. These are his arms right here. So we're just going to fill in this little area right here. And then right above like his legs. So my area is pretty small, but it's right here. So right underneath his belly and in between his legs. All right, there we go. Now he's got clothes. Now I did forget to do the ears, so I'm gonna go really quickly right back in with that coral and just fill in his ears. So they're his skin color and not the background. All right, whoops. I shouldn't do any touch-ups. Okay. Now that we have Buddha sitting all pretty, let's go back to our church. Okay, we're gonna do some outlines on the church, and then y'all, we're almost done here. So I'm going to take my round brush. You could do this, I'm gonna show you two different ways. You could take your round brush and do lines straight across. That would indicate the wood planks, or you can take your big brush and go straight in, black. Go straight in with black. Make sure your brush is really dry. Okay, I'm gonna go straight in with black, and then I'm just like going to come right in and just do these lines right across. So you could do this with your round brush if you wanted to come straight across, or you can use it with your big brush and just hold your big brush kind of like a minus sign. And we're starting right below this shelf under the steeple. Okay, because that part's going to stay white. And I'm just creating my lines. Nothing perfect, nothing to it but to do it. All right, going around my around my doors, trying to go around my doors. We're gonna go all the way down with these. Doesn't need to be perfect. Be an old, tattered church. All right, and then we got to come up here. We're going to do, I'm going to switch to my round brush and we're going to do the steeple. So we're going to create the lines on the steeple. Right. Now we need to come in and we need to outline our church. So we're sticking with black and I'm just going to go right along the edges. Steady hand today. Okay. I'm just outlining the church. All right. Now, when you're done with that, we're going to add a little overhang right over this door, this middle door, which is just a triangle topper. A little awning almost. All right. And then we're going to create two lines that go straight down, or you could come up in between these doors if you wanted to, or you can go straight down. I'm going to go straight down. So it comes from this shelf up here. I'm just going to go straight down. All right, starting to look like a church. Then I'm going to outline my doors as well. Okay. Looking good. So now one of the last things that we can do is create kind of this winter scene. So because we have snow on the ground, I want to add just a little bit of snow on my rooftop of my church and then add some snowflakes coming down. So I'm just going to go straight in. Make sure you wash your brush. You have a clean brush for this. I'm just going to go straight in with white and I'm just going to dab kind of on my roof line here on the top. Right, and maybe some snow is kind of coming down here. Got some snow on top here. I'm just dab, 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 dab. Doesn't need to be perfect. You know, snow kind of just lands where it lands. I have some on the roof up here. I have a little bunch that comes up like that. Just dab, dab, dab. Let's see. Maybe we've got some snow kind of hanging off over here. Some little bank right here, a little bit more over here. Maybe. All right. Now maybe we've got some snow. Maybe it's snowing. let's make it snow. So I'm just taking my round brush, and what you're going to do is you're just going to go straight in with white, and you're just going to boop, 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 and add your little snowflakes. And you can put some like in front of the church too. Otherwise it looks like, it's just snowing around the church, but we know that's not how snow really acts. So I'm putting just a little dots. Just a couple random ones in front of the church. Maybe a couple in front of Buddha. He's getting snowed on too. And maybe a little snowbank top of his bench. Maybe a little snow on top of his head. And then I'm going to add right underneath his bench so that it does look like it's not just floating. I'm just going to add this little wavy line. So bench is actually sitting in the snow. All right, y'all, and there you go. You have your beautiful church, Star of David and Buddha all hanging out on this glorious winter scene. I hope you enjoyed this and had as much fun as I did enjoy.